Hello, this is Victoria here again, and I'm back with another announcement. I guess it's just the time of year because I have a bunch of announcements going on lately. But anyway, today I'm super excited to tell you that the third annual Biblio Lifestyle Winter Reading Guide is here. Yes, it's here and it's available it's out there in the reading world. I'm thrilled readers can get their hands on a copy right away. So if you haven't already, visit winterreadingguide.com to download your free copy of the 2023 Winter Reading Guide. So again, visit Winter Reading Guide, 3 separate words, winterreadingguide.com for your free copy of the 2023 Winter Reading Guide. Okay, so if you're new to Biblio Lifestyle, if this is your first time listening to the Reader's Couch podcast, but if you are new here and you're hearing about the Winter Reading Guide for the very first time, it's a free downloadable PDF guide that I create, and I do this to share some of the best books of the season, along with some fun things you can do at home. In this case, it's winter, so you'll find a winter-themed recipe, and I always include some tips to help improve your reading life. So essentially, the Winter Reading Guide is your one-stop shop to having a fun literary season. However, disclaimer, this guide is not an exhaustive list of all the books coming out this season. It's not even a summary of all the best books that are coming out. What I have done is listed and selected all my favorite books that I have read, and I put them together in this beautiful guide to share them with you. So again, if you haven't already, head on over to winterreadingguide.com to get your free copy of the 2023 Biblio Lifestyle Winter Reading Guide. Now, before I get into what kind of books you can find in the guide, I want to talk about the cover because you know what? I love the cover of this guide. I think if you've been here for some time, you're saying, well, Victoria, you love all the covers of the guide. And you know what? I do, because I have an amazing designer named Lauren George. She illustrated this year's reading guide's cover, and she's been doing reading guide covers for me for some time now. And this year, for 2023, for the winter guide, the vibe I was going for is more of a ski resort with a bookshop there. And of course, folks are reading because that's what we do here at Biblio Lifestyle. We encourage reading, we help people get started with reading, and we recommend some great books for you to read as well. So anyway, back to the design. I was going for a ski resort with a bookshop and reading. So in the design, there's a ski lodge, there's a ski slope, there's even a ski lift with people up there reading. The lodge itself, I love like wooden cabin vibes, so that's what I was going for. And of course, Lauren brought it to life. You'll also find folks outside the lodge with their hot cocoa. They're reading around a fire, they're reading on benches, and you know, there's even a snowman over there reading too. So it's definitely, I guess you could say, maybe a winter wonderland, you know, with some skiing involved. But either way, I loved the guide's cover. Lauren did an amazing job. And as always, you know, I would love to say I came up with all this myself, but the truth is it's a family effort on my end. I always ask for input on, okay, what are we doing this year with the guide? And basically we come up with a theme. I relay this to my designer Lauren, and she, you know, brings the guide to life, and I'm in love with it. I hope you're in love with it too. So again, if you haven't downloaded your free copy, head on over to winterreadingguide.com. That's winterreadingguide.com for your free copy of the 2023 Biblio Lifestyle Winter Reading Guide. Yes, that was a mouthful. All right, so let's talk about what kinds of books you can find in the guide. Now, in this year's guide, there are 18 new releases. I want to think as the years have gone on by, I'm getting better at narrowing down the books because last year's guide had way more books. So did the year before. And winter's kind of a short season because I'm going to have a spring guide coming out, and that's going to be coming in really short succession here. The longest period is the summer, but everything else is kind of quick succession. So for the winter reading guide, I really wanted to narrow things down. So I've selected 18 new books and I've organized them across 6 categories. So technically that breaks down to about 3 books per category. So the fun part is if you're a reader who's in a particular mood for something, or you have your favorite genres or categories, you can head straight there to your favorite section if you prefer to do that and pick up a new book. But as always, I will always encourage readers to try something new as well. Step outside your comfort zone and, give it a go. I think that's incredibly important. Now, of all the 18 books that I've selected in the guide, so remember 18 books, 6 categories, so 3 books for each category. I have a special category that's dedicated to the minimalist reader. And our Minimalist Reads list has 6 titles that we highly recommend if you're only going to pick up a few books this winter, because again, I know it's not possible for folks to read all 18 books from the guide. I mean, some readers can, but others can't. So I kind of use the minimalist list as a way to kind of narrow down and say, look, if you don't have much time, if you're not a voracious reader, I recommend selecting a book from one of these 6 books that are in the minimalist list. You'll also find the minimalist list has one standout novel and one standout book, I should say, because they're not always novels, although this time it's all novels in the winter reading guide. But what I'm saying to you is this book is a standout book from each category. So in the minimalist list, you'll find 1 book of literary fiction, 1 historical fiction, books with themes of family and friendship, 1 mystery and thriller, science fiction and fantasy, and 1 romance. So those are the 6 categories that you will find in the winter reading guide. And the minimalist list has 1 book from each category. Now, in addition to the books, these amazing books that are hitting bookshelves this winter, in the guide you'll also find some reading tips. So let me pull the guide up here real quick. And the reading tips that I'm providing in the winter reading guide are specific to helping you set and achieve your reading goals. So whether you're a newbie and you're trying to incorporate reading into your life, you're coming out of a reading slump, or you've had a great reading year and you're making plans to have another year of wonderful reading, these tips can be helpful to you. So whether you're an aspiring reader or an avid reader, these tips will be helpful in helping you set and achieve your reading goals. Also in the guide, you'll find some fun things to do at home. I kind of focus most of these activities to do at home, to just do at home. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Not just general things that you can do outside the home, just because I know for some folks, the days when you're home and maybe bored tend to be bad weather days, especially if you live in an area where it snows. So these are great indoor activities. These are good things to do on your own. They're great family activities. There's a variety of things here. So, give it a go. What else do we have going on? We have a winter-themed recipe. And let me scroll to that section there. And the winter-themed recipe that we have going on is named Midwinter Night's Dream. So check that out. And, give that one a go if you're of illegal drinking age in your respective country. So, the winter reading guide, again, is just your perfect guide to having a wonderful literary winter season. So from great books to reading tips to things you can do at home to a fun recipe, I tried to create a guide that can be fun and engaging, but also provide just a great experience this winter. So Okay, so footnotes, things you should know about the guide. Of course, reading is a personal experience. So I've included some summaries in the guide to help you decide if a book sounds right for you. I also recognize that some of these books have heavy themes. So if you need a trigger warning, email me You can reach me at hello@bibliolifestyle.com, and I will do my best to advise you accordingly. If you want to do this on your own, I recommend using the Storygraph, which is a book app for readers, and they're really good with trigger warnings. So you can just punch the title in, head on over to Storygraph, put the title in, and you'll find trigger warnings specific to each book. So that's a great helpful way if you don't want to email me, which is perfectly fine and welcome. Head on over to the Storygraph. Also in the guide, you'll find publication dates, so you'll know what book comes out when, although these are subject to change, because when I started reading these books, it had one publication date, and by the time the guide was ready to come out, we had to update the dates as well. So it's just for you to have a general idea, if you know what I mean. So these dates are subject to change. However, you can use this information to get ahead of the line and request these books from your library. So even though I'm all about, you owning books and having books that you've read and love, utilize your library. It's a great testing ground for you to see if this book is good, if you love it, and if it's something you want to add to your at-home collection. So use the guide to get in those library hold lines early. So when those books are available, you'll be one of the first few readers to get it. You can also use this to pre-order books from your local bookshop, because pre-orders are always welcome by authors. It's a great signal to say, yes, you're interested in reading more of these kinds of stories. So go ahead and pre-order them. If you're that reader and you prefer the flexibility of having your own book at home, go ahead and pre-order these from your bookshop. Bonus if your bookshop offers delivery and you opt in for a delivery service, because if you pre-order it now, it will be a present to your future self. Because if you're anything like me, you pre-order books, you forget about it, and then these books show up on your doorstep in your mailbox, and it's a pleasant surprise. So do your future self a favor and pre-order these books as a gift, because they're always pleasant surprises. So if you haven't already, again, if you haven't paused this podcast in the middle of my chatting and rambling, if you aren't already subscribed to the newsletter, which quite honestly, what are you doing if you're not already subscribed? I mean, head on over. I don't spam people. I send you an email once every Friday. And my Friday email is my once weekly editorial newsletter. You'll get reading tips every Friday, book list, author features, recipes, because even though, we love our books, we're also all about the food. And I love sharing good recipes that have been tried and tested by me and proven to be really great. So you'll find recipes and just other things you'll enjoy. It's happy in your inbox every Friday. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Winter Reading Guide. And if you sign up for the Winter Reading Guide, you'll get the guide delivered directly to your inbox. And then every Friday, you will get that once weekly newsletter. And if you want more from me, you have the option to opt in to my special Sunday newsletter, which is a bit more personal and what's going on in my life and what I'm reading right now, and not so very editorial, if you know what I mean. And that's only if you haven't gotten enough from me here on the podcast, you haven't gotten enough of me in the Friday email, and you want that extra, subscribe on Sunday, because I'd love to be friends. I'm now making pen pals as well from that Sunday email. So head on over, it will be a good time. Anyway, let's get back on track. This is about the Winter Reading Guide. Head on over to winterreadingguide.com. You'll get the 2023 Biblio Lifestyle Winter Reading Guide delivered straight to your inbox. Again, that's winterreadingguide.com for your free copy of the 2023 Biblio Lifestyle Winter Reading Guide. I'll also include a link in the show notes, because I know some of you are driving, doing chores, running errands while you're listening to the podcast. So whenever you get done, just head straight to the show notes. If you don't remember, winterreadingguide.com. I'll include a link in the show notes so you can get a free copy of the guide there. Okay, I think I've rambled on enough. That's it for now. I really hope you'll find plenty of books you love in the guide. and I'm looking forward to hearing about your favourites. So send me a DM at BiblioLifestyle on social and hello@bibliolifestyle.com if you want to shoot me an email. But again, just sign up for the guide, winterreadingguide.com. You'll get the guide. If you see a book that you're super excited about, hit reply and let me know. And just the same, after you've read the book, if you've loved it, use the hashtag BiblioLifestyle, WRG, on your social media. But also just send me an email or drop me a DM or a note to say, hey Victoria, I read that book from the guide and I really enjoyed it. I love to hear from you because it also helps me to learn and know what you're interested in reading so I can read more of those books so I can recommend the best to you each season. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening and I look forward to talking to you in the next episode. Bye!